In 1965, 66, it was a community, and a small community. I don't know how many people were here, but there were not a lot of people here, maybe 50,000. And everybody knew everybody. Where we're sitting here today was the end of the world. I mean, and you knew the names of the hotels, but you also knew the owners of all the hotels. You knew who owned every hotel, and it was a person. It wasn't a company, it wasn't a corporation, it was a person. And it was his, and in a couple places, hers joints. The next big thing that really started to move the town around is when Howard Hughes came in and started buying all these individual properties up. And interestingly enough, we saw what happened in town when the town got stuck, when one person had such a big hand on so many different properties, both that were occupied, functioning, and vacant land up and down the strip. That was a big move. That was a very big move. And that move came right behind, right behind Cliff Perlman and Lum's hot dogs. Because growing up, by the time I was 16, we didn't call it Caesar's Palace. It was called the Palace. There was only one palace in the world. And it happened to be on Flamingo in the Las Vegas Strip. Well, you know, that was all Sam, the father, and Bill Boyd, who we now know. That was all their makings. That was all their idea. And I think they looked a little bit at what was going on at a place called Palace Station a little bit, and could kind of see that the community was growing. It was becoming more affluent, and they could also see that the strip was going towards the tourist. It was really focusing in on the tourist. When I grew up as a kid, we would go to the Sahara, or we would go to the Flamingo after church on Sunday, once a month or once every 2 months. Well, those were becoming more the tourist locations, and the prices were going up, and we were kind of getting, in the natural progression, the locals were kind of getting pushed back a little bit. And remember, the strip was now becoming a little more, starting to be risque. I mean, Hollywood, Los Angeles was showing up. My mother's dresses were always to here. It was starting to move along. The culture was opening up and moving along, and the Boyds saw that rooftops. They focused in on rooftops and locals, and that was an exciting project. That was a real turning point for the entire country now, if you go across the country. Because most gaming now in most states, if you'll notice, are more Sam's Town-y, Palace Station-y kinds of places. We did change the face of Las Vegas culinary-wise at the Rio. And we started the food renaissance, is what I called it, in Las Vegas. And that was a lot of fun. Las Vegas was ready for it, but the market was telling us, and nobody was really listening. And I think we just listened better than everybody else. And yeah, we got to 23 restaurants. We served 25,000 meals a day. We served more meals than any military outpost in the United States a day. And we did it well, and we won every single award in every single restaurant. And it became a passion, and Las Vegas picked up on it. And I think it's been a big part of what's expanded Las Vegas, by the way. And it was a lot of fun. Do you want to build a place for the market that's here and coming, or do you want to build a place for the market that's here and left? Okay, my generation, the baby boomers, are only going to be about this for another 5, maybe 10 years. You go to build a new place, it's going to take you 5 years to build a new place. Plan it, design it, build it, get it up. That's a 5-year process. Well, 50% of the baby boomers that are left, that we built this whole town in and around and about, are not going to be here. It's you young people that are coming. And you have a whole nother view of the world. There are different things that spark you. You have different thoughts about gaming. You have different thoughts about entertainment. And a good example would be, you know, the Rio, we put the first nightclub in a hotel casino at Club Rio. That was, let's see, that was 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Now look at this town. There's nothing more powerful than an idea. And then we'll get to the numbers if the idea is right. But in a hotel, you have a hotel casino in Las Vegas. You have the eating idea, you have the sleeping idea, you have the outdoor recreation idea, you have the casino idea. You have all these ideas that come together, and how they go together for the next 20 years, I don't think are like the way I was a part of putting them together for the last 40 years. I'm going to use the word seeking. Seeking. They all know, from the brightest to the non-brightest, that there's a change about us. And they're all seeking to find the magic answer. Go to Google, and it'll be on Google. It's not on Google. It's probably a week sitting around with 4 or 5 people and really trying to understand where the market wants us to take them.